So with that, I'd like to welcome the team from Junior Achievement who are going to tell us about all of the fantastic programs that JA has to offer. I know you're all using Are You Ready out there, but there are also other amazing resources that are available for you to use, and they're all beneficial for students. And with that, I'll let the JA team take it from here. Welcome.
Thanks, Laura. Hi, everybody. My name is Marie Buckley, and I'm the VP of Regional Operations for Junior Achievement. And what that means is Junior Achievement North consists of all of Minnesota, all of North Dakota, and I help support all the areas outside of the Twin Cities with my teams, some of whom are on here today. So you'll see Logan Brand is on the call. Logan is our programs associate who helps manage and implement programs. So she really focuses on the execution and making sure that she's able to create specialized programmatic experience for you and your learners. Tana Wagner is also on the call. She sits in Bismarck and is able to provide a lot of support with regional partners. So I know that sometimes volunteers are needed both in the classroom and to support JA programs. Tana builds relationships across communities to make sure we can help support that with community engagement. And then I also have the amazing Haley Giannotta on with us. She helps lead a lot of our program activities across all of the regions for JA North and can really speak to that expertise of what the experience is like for the educator and the learner. So to get us started, a little bit about Junior Achievement is we are a 100-year-old organization and we prioritize experiential learning for students. What we want is that students to be able to lead choice-filled lives. And for us, that means that they have had exposure in their K through 12 classroom career to career opportunities, to be able to start practicing some of those skills, to also focus on financial literacy and social stewardship and civic duties. So we really want to make sure that we are leading entrepreneurial spirits within our students, but also that we're breaking down the barrier. I know as new things come up, oftentimes schools aren't sure where to put them or they don't go. I'm going to use a very specific example of the financial literacy mandate. As we've talked to a lot of people who are in CTE and counselor roles across the state, this is something that is maybe being put onto people's plates. Well, the reason is we really want to create connectivity between career exploration and financial literacy, because if we don't create that awareness in students early, there's no amount of money they can make if they haven't learned how to be financially stable. And we're able to then create real life experiences for them through career force exploration and that financial literacy. So we're really helping to bridge the gap. And also for anyone on this call or who listens later and is like, yeah, I'm supposed to deal with that now, or I just got told that I'm going to be a part of that. We're here to help you because we are going to help make that a much easier experience for all of you. And we'll go ahead and get started into some of our content. And what we're going to do is we are going to talk about how Junior Achievement aligns with North Dakota's priorities around choice readiness. And we do that in a couple of different buckets. And I mentioned them all previously. So I'll start with the financial literacy. We have key programs that are designed to be both in class curriculum activities, but also some experiential learning that students would have access to start practicing and flexing those muscles. For those of you who have been starting to think about the new financial literacy half credit mandate that North Dakota passed, we were early partners of DPI once that mandate was passed, and we received an early copy of the standards that you would all be seeing and be held to for your students. So we have a program that is ready to essentially plug and play that you would be able to use to meet all of those standards within the new financial literacy mandate that we can get easily activated for you in your schools. Another program we'll talk about is JA Company Program. What's really special about this program is it pairs so well with activities that are already happening in the schools like DECA or FBLA, where students are really having an immersive experience in creating their own company and having an experience with their peers to learn, and then they're able to transfer those skills into those extracurricular activities that they're doing at school. And then we'll lean into what I'm sure many of you are here for, career exploration services. So we really want to make sure that we are sharing with you all of the opportunities that JA has to help create that bridge from the classroom to careers, be a partner with you, and help lighten the load a little bit. So all of our programs meet state standards and we can show alignment within CTE, but also I think we always joke that the thing that we are always most surprised about is how many different standards are met. The first time we reviewed our financial literacy programming, the number of ELA standards that were met. So when we think about trying to find a place for things to fit within the classroom, we really can be a good partner for you as well in sharing how this works with your educators. So I'll share about a couple of our quick programs that tie really specifically to North Dakota, and then we're going to show you a little more in depth. But we wanted to start with JA Career Fair and JA Job Shadow because we know that, one, a lot of you are in charge or tasked with making sure your students are doing these activities. Are they getting their job shadow experiences in across the state? Are you creating unique opportunities? Are you also tasked with being the one who leads the career fair and having kind of conversations? We've had a lot of conversations with our schools where they're like, our partners who come to career fairs are saying they're not getting as much out of that as they would like. A lot of times they're like, well, the students are great, but they just came up and they took the stress ball or the sunglasses and they didn't really have a conversation with me about what it means to work in my industry or what it means to work at my company. And we know as partners that you are doing a lot to try and prepare students to be in that space and have great conversations, but we do have great tools and resources that we can help implement that maybe take some of the lift off you to make it a learning experience so it's not just a field trip. I also want to touch briefly on something that is very unique to North Dakota. So I don't know if anybody wants to like show of hands or throw an emoji or in the chat, but how many of you are utilizing the CareerView XR headset that is in your school? I know every single school has them, but then people are like, the execution or getting it used appropriately in the classroom. Anybody want to be like, yeah, no, or I forgot where I put my headset and it's in a closet somewhere. I don't work for Be More Colorful or CareerView. I'm not here to like judge at all. But I do know that they have some great experiences that are in that career library. And so if you want to have some support in making better use of your headset and making sure that there is some pre and post work to go along with that, or some opportunities for students to build aptitude so that they know which areas they should be exploring within the headset. I know I've talked to some students and oftentimes they talk about, you know, the coolest ones. I once had a young man who was very proud to tell me that he did the wind turbine because he heard somebody at another school threw up when they did it. And he wanted to do that one to see if it made him sick. So I know that there are tools that are really great that we have in the classroom, but sometimes we need a little more support on how to use them and make them a valuable learning experience. So that's what we want to do at JA is help be that partner for you. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Haley because Haley is going to go into what the educator experience is and walk through these programs more in depth. So now you can see these are some of the programs that we offer. Haley will go and explore that platform a little more with everybody and talk through some of the additional programs.
Thanks, Marie. I'm going to do what we all don't like on a virtual meeting, but you could all see my screen, correct? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I want to show you, before we dive deeper into the programs that we offer, I want to show you how you would gain access to all of our programs and really what is included in every single JA program. So the way that we push out curriculum, and of course I had way too many things up, is through D2L. This is the easiest way for us to give all teachers quick access to the curriculum. So it is housed here. You get a login once you are registered with Junior Achievement, and then you get access to the entire program. So I just want to bring you down the list of what is included in each program. It has all of your modules built into the left. So every JA program comes with a teacher guide, and I'm just using a demo of Finance Park, and we'll get into this program a little later. But the teacher guide looks like this. It gives you what to say, how to say it, when to say it, so it aligns with the presentation that is already created for you. So Junior Achievement gives you the tools that you need to be successful, but we know that this teacher guide is not a one-size-fits-all. So you can teach it like this. You can take what's most relevant to you and your students. You can add other discussion questions or activities that you want. But we just want you to be successful with the materials that we give you. So this is the way that it is laid out. This can be downloaded. You can put it on your desktop. It can be printed so you can have it right next to you as you are teaching the JA curriculum. So every JA program has a teacher guide. And then there are also volunteer guides built in if you had a volunteer coming in to assist you. Maybe they're a career speaker speaking to the topics that you are teaching. We also have everything completed for you for the student workbooks. So all student activities are done. You don't have to create anything to go with our programs, and they are all fillable PDFs. So students can click right into this, type into it. So everything is done. What's unique about the student activities is there's a couple different ways that you can give students access to this. If you want students to access D2L, you can upload them right into the system. We can assist you with doing that. That gives them access to this platform. So everything you see with an eyeball when it's crossed out, students would not see that. So I'm in teacher view. There is a student view, so they would get access to the presentations, the activities. So this is something you could assign for them for homework, or maybe you offer an online class and you want them to access this. You can do it through D2L. Students can submit assignments right here. You can grade right here. It's really a one-stop shop. However, we know that teachers don't always want to be using another platform. So you can download all student activities. Again, you can print them, or you can upload them into like Google Classroom or Schoology, whatever your school uses as an LMS, you can upload it right into there. So we give you a couple options and you can use whatever works best for you and your students. So those are just an example of a student workbook. And then when you scroll down, everything is broken down by unit or lesson. So everything you need for like theme 1, for example, is going to be, here is your teacher guide, I'm going to show you an example of a presentation. Your presentation is built right in here. If it loads. So it's just like a PowerPoint. You can click through it. This is what you would present right to the front of your class, and you would have to work on the presentation through D2L. So you can interact with it through here. It breaks down each assignment you would need for each lesson, making it easy for you to have quick access to the lesson that you are working on. So again, all of our JA programs are housed in this same model. So I just wanted to show you that so that you can have an idea of how you would access the curriculum if you chose to use one of JA's programs. All right, to dive a little bit deeper into the programs that Marie mentioned, and we're first going to look at JA Company program. So this program is best situated in grades 10 through 12. However, I have seen them running in classrooms 9 through 12. This allows students to create their own business right in the classroom. It is a really low-risk environment. The curriculum walks them through each step of creating their own business. So what students do is they're looking to, what need do I need to solve in my community? What are we missing? Maybe I'm creating something for my school. Maybe we don't have water bottles with our school logo on it, and I want to create that. And I'm really seeing that need here at my school. So students research, what is that need? They create the physical product, and then they launch and operate the business right there in the classroom. So this is a semester-long course, and I'll show you the lessons in a second, but it's designed so that students take on different roles in this business. You could run a business as an entire class. You could have 3 different businesses running within your class. So students are taking on the roles of a CEO. They're tracking their finances. They're understanding what it means to set the price of their product and market that, and figure out how are they going to reach their target markets. Unique to North Dakota, there is dual credit opportunity at NDSU if students complete the JA Company program, and they're available for scholarship prizes for the top performing teams in North Dakota. So this could be a fall or a spring semester program. I've also seen it where students complete it in the fall and then they keep their business open all the way till the end of the year, tracking their finances. And what's really cool is any profit that they make, they get to keep. That is all on them. They are tracking those and deciding what they want to do with it. So this is just an example of what that semester would look like. lessons 1 through 5 are very teacher-led. The teacher is guiding them through their process, helping them figure out that need in the community that they want to solve, helping them create their product, starting them in those steps, and the curriculum really guides you through those steps as well. Lessons 6 through 11 is really the students out there selling the product, going out, making those sales, marketing it, figuring out how can we increase our sales? Maybe they need to be making more products. So 6 through 11 is really student led. They're checking in with their teammates. They're working through their finance tracker, figuring out if they have to pay taxes, all of those things. And then at the end, they go through and they liquidate their company. So it's a really that 360 entrepreneurial experience in that low risk setting in your classroom. All right, the next one Marie had mentioned is JA Financial Literacy. With those personal finance requirements popping up, JA Financial Literacy is that one-stop shop for you to meet all of those needs required from the state. So this is that high school program. It is semester long, and you're digging deeper into what is a budget, what is debit and credit, really getting students to understand why a credit score is important. And what is unique about this program is it is project-based. So the students for each unit are understanding their credit score and then creating a project, their budgeting habits, savings plan, and an investment plan. And what I really like about this is each student's projects are going to reflect their goals, their values for their futures, and where they are at. So every student's project is going to be unique to them and their futures. Like maybe they're creating a budgeting plan for a year from now. Maybe they're saving for a car. Maybe they're saving for prom. That's going to be unique to them. Then they're going to look at 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So it's not these numbers where students are like, I don't have to deal with this right now. I don't want to put energy into it. It's really trying to meet them where they are at. Each project is also delivered in a unique way. So they will have to present it to the class. One of them, they create a brochure. Another one, they create a game show. So it really tries to make it fun for them, showing what they learned throughout that process and learned about themselves and what their financial future could look like. So that's a semester-long course. Okay, to get into a little bit more of experiential learning. So at Junior Achievement, we really believe that when students are put into the place to work with their hands, to apply what they learned through this curriculum, it's going to make a bigger impact for them. So we have 3 main, we call them ELC programs, experiential learning programs, for our middle and high schoolers. So we're gonna dig a little bit deeper into BizTown Adventures, Finance Park, and then a new program we are launching, Dream Accelerator. So JA BizTown Adventures is really best suited in grades 4 through 6, and this is where students learn what it means to be a member of a community, to contribute to an economy. They have 5 different, up to 15 different lessons. They're video lessons where teachers present them at the front. They go through the activities together, and then they get to play this gamified version of what it means to be that member of a economy or a community. So they're taking on different roles like a CEO, a CFO, a marketing director, a consumer, and then a sales manager. So they're taking on those different roles, playing this gamified version of what they learned in that curriculum. So it's introducing students to what that actually means to be career ready, and then also those financial literacy topics. You can also pair this with mock interviews. We see this very popular at this grade level. Teaching them what does it mean to make, or how important it is to have eye contact, a firm handshake. How do you explain yourself? Do you have that elevator pitch? You know, that 30-second tell me about yourself. This is a great introduction for that at those early ages. And then they can look at job applications as well and just do a mock job application. So those are great add-ons to that program. Okay. JA Dream Accelerator. This is brand new to JA North, and we are really excited about this, and it is immersive career exploration experience. So students are figuring out what are high interest careers and high demand careers in our communities. They're looking at money management. They're understanding what it means to be an entrepreneur and how entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial mindset contributes to our communities. And then diving a little bit deeper into workforce development. So students are understanding their goals, their interests, their values, their skills, and then how that aligns to careers for the future. So I want to dig a little bit deeper into Dream Accelerator. I'm hoping we can hear this. It's a really quick video about Dream Accelerator. Can you hear that? No. Let's see.
Discovery and reflection. It doesn't matter where you come from, where you think you are going, what job or career you think you should have. It's never too late or too early to begin. We all have dreams, but how do you make them come true? Let's start right here. Today, pay attention to the clues you'll learn about yourself. Picture your strengths. Discover visionaries who blaze the trail. Step into the shoes of entrepreneurs. Get a dose of reality. And visualize your future. Welcome to the Dream Accelerator.
This is really cool.
Okay, so Dream Accelerator is brand new to JA North. This launched in JA of Rocky Mountain in Denver, and we are one of the next JA areas to pilot it. So this is currently being built in our St. Paul location in Minnesota, but our goal is to have this as a mobile experience to come to your communities for the 26-27 school year. So this is something that we envision fitting in 7th through 12th grade classrooms. So going through it twice. They can go through it in that middle school stage, helping them prepare for the classes that they need to take in high school, or maybe even prepare for a job that they would like to have as when they hit their teenage years. And then going through this experience again at the high school level, so to figure out what's next in their future. Are they college bound? Are they workforce bound? This will help guide their path. So this is 2 lessons in the classroom before they would go through that simulation. And first they look at JA Here to Career. It's really asking, how can my interests, my strengths, and my character shape the type of life and the person that I want to become for my future? So that's before they come to the simulation. And then the next lesson is the entrepreneurial exploration. So asking the students, what becomes possible for me and others in the community when I think like an entrepreneur? You know, really exploring entrepreneurial thinking. And it's not about, I just created this really cool product, but understanding that I'm solving a problem in my community by creating that business, by creating that product. So by having an entrepreneurial mindset, even if you don't want to open your own business, what does that mean for your future and for your community? So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what the simulation actually looks like. So the simulation, or the Dream Accelerator really interactive part of it, is the students will each get an iPad, and it's going to be very technology heavy, leading them through these stations. So the first one that they will go through is Picture Your Strengths. So as you saw in that video, there's these honeycomb pictures. The students are defining, what are my strengths? What are my interests? What are my values? Who am I? And what does that mean for my future? And then it makes a picture of them based off of those terms that they selected about themselves. So everything that the students are doing throughout this experience is being collected and then gathered to help them create SMART goals at the end. And then they'll get that experience like in a printout that will help them lead forward in their future. So the picture your strengths is the first station. Station 2 is a visionaries wall. So students are exploring different visionaries in many different career clusters. They're hearing about their backgrounds, what motivated them, what were their accomplishments, what community impact did they have. So then they get to save different visionaries that really inspire them or speak to them and their future career path. The third one, this one is my favorite, so reality check. Students explore this future lifestyle that they have in their head. They're looking at housing, transportation, their vision of what they had for themselves as far as education or training for a career. Maybe they're entering, I'm going to have 3 kids. That's what I picture in my future. I know that I want to travel a lot or attend a lot of concerts. And then they get to put in, this is my ideal career, and really see how that income will affect their vision of their future. So once they see that, they'll have a chance to manipulate some of these numbers that you can see here on the screen, and they can say, okay, I need to have more realistic expectations of my transportation. I can't drive a Lamborghini. I'm going to have to drop that down with this career that I want for my future. So it really opens their eyes to what things cost and then how that would correlate to their income. The next station is entrepreneurial mindset. So students get to analyze different choices and make decisions based off of real entrepreneur companies. So they're given a case study and they're given a challenge that this business had in real life. The students would then select choices and work through how would they solve that problem if they worked for that company. And then they get to hear at the end how the company actually went about solving that problem. Okay, the visualization wall. So this is really cool. It's a mural. And what students do is they would take that iPad and they would scan the career cluster that they're interested in. So then let's say they're scanning, you can see like doctors in the background there. Maybe they're scanning that, but they know, I don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to be a doctor, but according to my values and my interests for my future, what else could I do within this field? So they get to learn that. And I always say that, at a career expo, students walk up to those businesses and don't understand that you don't have to be a doctor or a nurse to work at a health clinic. You could work in HR, you could work in IT. There are so many other careers within those industries, and this is just helping open those doors and helping open the students' eyes to those different opportunities. I always give the example too of, with an education degree, that doesn't mean you have to be a teacher. What else could you do with that education background? At the end, so each station is going to be led by a volunteer. They'll be able to hear from the volunteer. The volunteer can share about them, how they got to where they are, share about their career path, share about what they do at their current role. So that's really helping those connections between the community and the students as well during this stage. And then finally, those SMART goals. Students will get a recap of everything that they came up with throughout that entire experience, and then they'll be able to develop those goals for their future to really give them something to go forward with.
So I will jump in here too, because I wanted to share, and Haley doesn't know this yet, but for those of you who are active users of Compass, we are currently working with Compass to have the experience from Dream Accelerator upload right into a student's Compass profile to then help them explore career opportunities, job shadows, or internships that are already built into the Compass platform to make it user-friendly for educators, so it's something that feels familiar to them, but also we know that getting students to build their Compass profile and have it be a really robust, great profile can be hard, and the Dream Accelerator could feed right into that to get them started.
That's really cool. I did not know that. Okay, that was Dream Accelerator. Another program that we have is Finance Park. So this is something that we also have a mobile experience for. This is ready here for the 25-26 school year, and we will continue offering it for the future school years. But Finance Park is a great introduction to financial literacy topics. So we have an entry-level version, which is great for 7th through 9th grade. So introducing students to like, what does it mean to have a credit score? What is debit? What is credit? What is a net income? Just dipping their toes in to help them understand what that means. And then at the advanced level, that is usually best for 10th through 12th graders. It is a great plug and play to what you could potentially already be doing in the classroom around personal finance, just digging in a little bit deeper on those topics. This has a lot of optional curriculum built in for it, so you can look at a FAFSA form. You can have students look at a W-4 form. What would it mean if you lost your job? So it has a lot of optionals built in to help you best meet the needs for your students. With this, they're also starting to look at, I have a career goal. What does that mean for my future? What can I expect my future reality to look like? So with this being one of our experiential learning programs, we want students to be able to apply what they are learning in the classroom. So we at JA North have launched this year JA Finance Park Mobile. So again, this is what we can bring directly to your community, to your school. And students take on the role of an adult for one day, or they take on a role for a month. They have to create a budget for a month. If you're familiar with the board game Life, it is very similar to that, where students come in, they're given a career, they're given a life scenario. Maybe they're married, maybe they're single, maybe they have kids and pets that they will have to budget for. And then they work through these stations creating that budget. So this is a 2 to 3 hour experience where the students build their budget at the beginning, and then at the end they get to shop. So they get to purchase products within that budget that they created for the month. So we put some pictures in here to give you a better idea of what this would look like. This is what we have run over in Minnesota. We have volunteers leading discussions, asking students questions like, if you were solely responsible for paying your phone bill, would you still purchase that brand new iPhone 17? Volunteers get to ask questions at like the clothing station. They had students look down at what they were wearing, and they were wearing like this comfort sweatshirt, and they said, let's look it up. Let's see how much money this costs. So they were like, okay, this costs $100. Would that sweatshirt fit into your monthly budget? And the student was like, no, it doesn't. So they get to make those real world connections as they are moving through these stations, having those discussions with volunteers. So we have 20 different budgeting situations that a real life adult would have to budget monthly. And the volunteers are given kind of a guide, like a script to help guide that conversation, but it also can be very natural where the volunteers can share some experiences they've had, maybe some mistakes they've made around credit cards, and just getting them to think a little bit deeper. So as we're talking about this, I did see that question pop in. We work in partnership with our schools to find volunteers. We have found that parents really want to be involved in things like this. It helps open those conversations between students and families if they can experience that together. Our community also really wants to be involved in this. They want to share what they do. They want to set students up for more success maybe than that they were given with their finances. So we partner with the schools to find volunteers. I put in here a couple pictures of what the simulation looks like. So they would get an avatar, they would then be given their profile. So again, maybe they're a teacher with one kid and they make $50,000 a year. Here would be their budget. They can see their budget, what they have left. And down here at the expenses, these are the different budgeting categories that they would go through. And they're locked. So students can't click through them really fast. They get the code to unlock it at each station with their volunteer, working through that as a group. So they get a credit card, get access to a credit card, which is really cool. Maybe they have secondary education loans that they will have to pay back and build in, but this is what their main profile would look like. This is just an example of one of those budgeting situations. They would go through, the volunteer would really explain what it means to have disability, health, and life insurance, or what it means to have self-care. And then this is an example of how they would set their budget. It's a slider, and they would work between their means. And then at the end, they would confirm their budget. Once they've gotten through all of the budgeting situations, they would confirm their budget. And this is the fun part. This is where they get to shop. This is just an example. I know you can't see all of it. They would have to find a vehicle to fit into the budget that they created for that monthly payment. So they could buy a vehicle. Under like where it would say luxury car, it would tell you the monthly price of how much that would cost. So if they can't afford to buy, they would maybe have to take public transportation or look at rideshare options. So they really get to see what it costs to have a type of vehicle. Students get really mad if they have a spouse and have to purchase a vehicle for their spouse, and they say, well, can't they just take public transportation? And they just get to make those connections. And then at the end, they decide, am I paying for this out of my checking account? Do I use a savings account? Did I get approved for a mortgage loan or an auto loan? So they have to figure out, where is that money coming from and how am I paying for that? Okay, that was Finance Park. Before we get to questions, I do want to mention that Finance Park also comes with a virtual simulation option. So everything that I just showed you, there is that virtual gamified version of it that just removes the interactions with the volunteers, and it's more open. So they get to work between those different budgeting categories on their own, but students still really enjoy being able to see what it feels like to be an adult and make those choices and make those connections to how expensive life really is. We've also seen that they gain a little bit more appreciation for their parents that pay for everything for them, and understanding that, oh, kids are expensive too. So there is that virtual option if you're thinking, we can't do mobile yet this year, or maybe you're a smaller district and you don't have enough students to go through a mobile experience, we could look at that virtual option as well. But I want to open it up to questions, because what I gave you was very high level and it was very fast, but if you have specific questions, we'd love to help.
I'm going to add something here too, and that is how Junior Achievement can help support work-based learning. So if you're looking for a simulated work-based learning experience for a student, there's a lot of overlap here in that, some of the 12-week programs that are offered by Junior Achievement can be a simulated work-based learning experience for a student. And I know we have some work-based learning coordinators on the call today. And it's also exciting to see how, you're integrating some things from Junior Achievement into Compass, because of course we have integrated Compass into Are You Ready? So we are really all partners in this, all of us, from every level supporting this and helping make students' dreams come true, really. So, and now I'll be quiet and open up for questions. So.
No, in the integration with Compass came from, we were having conversations about how do we make sure that things feel accessible and easy for educators, because no one wants to add one more thing onto the plate of an already very busy person. So suggestions on how something could fit better, that was where, when Haley mentioned the simulation can be between 2 and 3 hours, that conversation came up because of schools with block scheduling saying, hey, we need to make this work in 2 hours. We were able to adjust group sizes. We were able to adjust transition times. We're here to make this work for our school partners. We aren't here to make this a difficult experience at all. We want to provide unique learning opportunities to students that are innovative and engaging, but also don't feel like a very, very heavy lift for someone at the school to do on their own.
For schools that are interested and individuals that are interested in getting this started at their school, what's the first step?
The first step is to reach out to this team here, and we do have a follow-up email that will come out with some more information about each of our programs that Laura will share. But if you have an interest, and I know some of you on the call have met with some of us before or have heard about some of our programs, but reaching out to myself, Logan, Tana, and or Haley. Haley's like, those North Dakota people are way closer to all of you, and I sit in Minnesota. But Haley is a great resource too. So reaching out to any of us, and Laura can help get that connection too. but we would love to help support, and even just letting us know if you have an area where you're struggling to meet a need, if you're feeling like I need to create more job shadow opportunities or more connectivity, we can do that. Casey, I see your question about cost. So we really strive to have cost not be a barrier for JA programs. So we work with community partners to help offset the cost on the majority of our programs, many to 100% where there isn't a cost to the school. With the mobile experiences, we do have a conversation with each school about the cost of getting the unit there. So typically we say about $500 to get the unit there. However, we also know that a lot of schools have been working with Haley. You just told me who people are Perkins money, right? Yes. So we know a lot of schools are able to access Perkins funds to help offset some of the costs of transportation. But also, like I said, if you are very concerned about a cost barrier, please reach out to us because we may have a local community partner who's willing to offset that, and we are happy to work with you on it.
When you send out that mobile unit, then is it helpful maybe if schools in a region, especially small schools, maybe plan a day to combine resources?
Yes. If you all want to hear a real experience, Haley just did this with a number of smaller schools in southern Minnesota and has been planning this. So Haley, do you want to share how that came together? Because that will also be something we need to tackle in North Dakota.
Yeah. I have found that smaller communities they just want to do all the things. And problems like this is like, okay, well, I have 20 students, but we need 60 students to run a simulation. So what I did is I partnered with our local colleges in southern Minnesota to host the Finance Park Mobile Experience. So the schools came in to go through the experience together while getting exposure to a college campus as well. We've had other community locations want to host, but this not only gets them exposure to the Finance Park Mobile, but to colleges, to college students that come volunteer, to the volunteers that are maybe partnered with those community locations as well. So there are ways that we can combine schools to make this more accessible to you. I want to add too, if you see a program that you're like, I'd really be interested in that, but I want to look a little bit deeper into what that curriculum looks like, maybe play around in D2L, we can set you up with a demo of the program so that you can get a real feel for what that would look like in your classroom.
What is D2L?
I don't actually know what that stands for.
Or what it's the site, that's like
Yes.
the educator's site,
Yes.
I believe, but
Yep, that's what I started with. So that's what
Mhm.
all the curriculum is pushed out on.
And how does a school create an account? Do they just go to the site? Do they have to contact you first?
So when you register with Junior Achievement, an account is automatically set up for you. What we send you is this is how you log in, you create your password, and you automatically have access to it. So we do all of that setup on our end. The only thing an educator would have to do is reset their password.
So it sounds like one of the, like you said, first step, reach out to one of you,
Mhm.
and you'll make the process easy for them and
Mhm.
streamlined, which is always nice. Well, it's exciting to see this. And, from my first introduction to Junior Achievement 30 plus years ago, it's so exciting to see how much it's evolved, and you're just staying up with technology and the trends, and the Dream Accelerator looks extremely fun and exciting.
Yeah.
Have any of you seen that? I'm sure you have firsthand.
Yeah, we are actually, the construction is happening for our St. Paul location right now this week. Like it's under construction. So it will be open next month. And after that, then the mobile unit, we have some team members who are going to go see the mobile version in action. So we've had team members go see the in-building option in Denver. That's how we were like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to bring this here. And then we have some team members, the mobile unit is already being constructed right now out of Denver since they already had the facility built. And we are taking all of the tools and resources that they are doing. We will go out and see it live in action, but we are already underway ordering all of our components so that we can have this ready to launch for next year. So seeing it over the summer, getting it everything built so that way students will have access right away. So we will be able to pre-register schools for this next year. Scheduling will be very much on a first come, first serve basis. We will obviously try to make things work geographically. If we're going to be in an area, we will invite other schools, but definitely something if you want to be a part of it. earlier is better so that we can better plan the calendar to have everyone involved. I also see, Casey, you had a question about the curriculum costs for financial lit and company program. We don't have a school cost for those programs in North Dakota. We actually have partners who are able to cover the cost, especially when we look at the new mandate for financial literacy. We did not want to create a cost barrier because we know your budgets did not change because you were required to add a new half credit in your schools, and maybe your staffing models did not change based on that. So we don't have a cost for financial lit, and for company program, as long as schools are utilizing the program in its entirety, we have partners that are happy to help cover the cost of that. And the question of cost is not unfamiliar to us. We understand absolutely that you are working with very finite budgets, and that's why we are so active in the community. That's what Tana and I do all day, is we source community partners for cost coverage and volunteer support. And then Logan and Haley impact the masses. Tana and I just make sure it's paid for. Any other questions?
Well, if you think of something afterwards, you can email it directly to me and I will get your questions to the JA team. But I want to thank you all for joining us, and we do, going to give you back a few minutes in your day, as people like to say, but is anything else someone would like to say in closing?
I would just like to thank you all for joining today and for considering something new. I know that you are all inundated with opportunities or people reaching out to you about, you should try this, you should do that. I understand there are a lot of options out there, but we really do want to be a key partner in how education is innovated in North Dakota, and being able to get on the ground with all of you and help create the experiences that are meaningful for students is what we want to be a part of. So thank you all so much for your time, and we will have some follow-up information to come out so you can look a little further into those programs. And also, like Haley said, we're happy to get you demos to anything you want to learn more about.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and look forward to receiving that additional information from me. And this recording will be posted on the CTE website, so share with others. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.